All right, welcome to another 2020 NHL UFA Speculation List. And this is part 7, I think. And we're just going to quickly talk about 5 players here. But before we do, if you haven't seen the other videos, especially the first one in which I talk about the ramifications for the cap this year and next, I'll start throwing up links to those other videos right up top there throughout this one. And yeah, before we get started, please hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so it lets you know when my next video comes out. And please don't feel shy about sharing this video. It really helped the channel out, and I'd very much well appreciate it. Now, we're going to talk about Anton Khudobin, goaltender for the Dallas Stars, Brendan Dillon, defenseman for the Washington Capitals, Ron Hainsey, a D-man for the Ottawa Senators, Michael Frolik, winger for the Buffalo Sabres, and Jimmy Howard, goaltender for the Detroit Red Wings. Do I still have your attention? Please don't leave, please. So, Anton Khudobin, first up, a goalie for the Stars. He's 33, coming off a $2.5 million contract. Dallas has had the second best goals against this season, just behind Boston. And last year they were, I'm going to say, in the top 3 as well. Bishop and Khudobin have just been killer out there. Never mind, it's important to mention that the Stars play a real, defensive style game, a real tight playoff kind of checking game. So that's maybe helped him, because in the 4 years before Dallas, his numbers were very up and down. But when he first started his career for a while, he did really well with, I want to say, between the Blue Jackets and the Bruins and the Carolina Hurricanes and the Bruins again. So he's an undersized goalie. He's only 5'11". One wonders, could he still thrive in for a team that isn't as defensively savvy as the Stars. Anyways, I got 6 teams I will throw out there. The Calgary Flames. Cam Talbot might not be back. He could be looking for a number 1 role somewhere. Riddick seems to be great in the first half of the season and not so much in the second. So that's a possibility. The Vancouver Canucks, who may or may not sign Markstrom. The Edmonton Oilers. Smith is a UFA. The San Jose Sharks with Dell, especially seeing as how Jones is so bad the past couple seasons. I feel like I'm saying that almost every video now. The Detroit Red Wings. It's my Looney Tunes quote for the video. Jimmy Howard's a UFA, and they don't have any prospects in the pipeline that are going to come up anytime soon. So they need someone to tie them over and help Bernier shoulder the loss burden there. That's important. And then Chicago Blackhawks. They need goalies, really. They traded away Leonard. Crawford's a UFA. No prospects in the pipeline ready to jump in right away. So, yeah. And then last but not least, I got the Anaheim Ducks here because Ryan Miller may not be back. He's 39, so he might be retiring. Next, let's talk about Brendan Dillon, a left-shot defenseman for the Washington Capitals, who was traded to them earlier in the season from the San Jose Sharks. I don't remember if you seeing his last game with the San Jose Sharks when they interviewed him at the end of the game, asking him how he felt that this could be his last game, and he was pretty emotional about it. So that's one team I see him possibly re-signing with if they, manage something annoying, that thing called the cap. Otherwise, he's 29, if I haven't said that already, but he'll be 30 in November, coming off a $3.270 million contract. I could see teams like the Kings, the Wings, the Red Wings, and the Devils, teams that, I know, aren't really anywhere near contending. Mind you, the Devils with 3 or 4 facelifts. You never know. But maybe signing this guy for a year or two for more money than any other team could afford because of their cap. And possibly, depending on him and the team, sending him somewhere after the trade deadline, like San Jose did, to a contender, But the other teams I have down here are the Coyotes, the Rangers, the Jets, and the Sharks, who I've already mentioned. Next up, let's talk about Ron Hainsey, 39-year-old defenseman from the Ottawa Senators, coming off a $3.5 million contract. Now, he shoots left, but he plays a lot of right D. He plays beside Shabbat on the first pairing still. And people say, Ron Hainsey, retire. And he might just well do that. He may even join the coaching staff. Who knows? But, I mean, he's not putting up many points. But he was a plus 10 for the Ottawa Senators this season. The second worst team for goals against in the league. Amazing. And then for the Toronto Maple Leafs, when he was playing first pairing minutes there as well, the season before that, Babcock had him on the first, playing with Morgan Riley in the first pairing. He was a plus 30. He was like in the top 10 or the top 5 in the league for plus minus players. Like, what? What do you mean he's 38 or 39? I could see him playing another season. I could. Because he's also a really good penalty killer. So the first team I got down here is Toronto. And the Toronto fans are like, no, what are you talking about? Keep away. But again, Mike Babcock isn't there anymore, to throw him on the first pairing, where he definitely should not be. In a depth role, second, preferably the third, he'd be perfect, as that stopgap between them and rookies or whatever, whenever the cap really opens up. Because you think Hainsey will sign for maybe a little bit less than 3.5, maybe even half of that. So Calgary, I also have as a potential landing spot. The Kings, the Devils, the Lightning, the Sharks, not the Sharks, excuse me. Maybe the Sharks too. The Jets and the Vegas Golden Knights are all possibilities there. Next, we have a winger. We're going to talk about Buffalo Sabres' Michael Frolik, who was traded there earlier in the season from the Calgary Flames. He's 32. He plays both wings, but he's a left shot, and he's coming off a $4.3 million contract. I'm squinching because he's really kind of teetered off the past 3-4 seasons. I want to say he's barely got like 20 points in like 60 or so games this season. So he could even I could see him going to the KHL and trying to make some money there, perhaps. Because I don't see him making much money in the NHL. Maybe even goes to the Czech Republic, his homeland, to play hockey. I don't know. But if the circumstances are right, if he's dirt cheap, and teams are looking for some depth, then we're talking about maybe the Sharks, the Stars, the Senators, the Panthers, the Islanders, or the Columbus Blue Jackets. Put in the right scenario, maybe he can get close to scoring 15 goals-ish on a third pairing, maybe. Anyway, last player here, Jimmy Howard, who I've already mentioned once, a goalie for the Detroit Red Wings. He's 36 years old, coming off a $4 million contract. Detroit just signed him for 1 year last season into this season. And no harm, no foul. They knew they were going to be torching it anyways. With Yzerman at the helm, I think that's pretty much the idea. I don't see Detroit getting better for at least, let's say, a couple of years. But they're drafting really well, and they've got a bright future. If Jimmy Howard doesn't retire, which I'm pretty sure he would, because last season he alluded to the fact that if he didn't sign with Detroit, then he probably would retire. I think maybe Detroit doesn't have any goalie prospects, in the tunnel there. So maybe they bring him back for another year at like a quarter of that cost. If not, I don't see anyone really going after him. But for poop and giggles, I'd say maybe the Blackhawks, the Flyers, the Sharks, the Ducks, and the Knights. And I know you're all like, are you nuts? Well, could he really have as bad as a season as last season? And remember, Detroit's defense was the worst in the league. Partly his fault, I know, but still. In any case, that's it. That's all. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate my viewers who come back and are here to support me every day. Thank you for that. Please take care of each other out there, and I will see you soon.